Anglesey is an island situated off the northwest coast of Wales. The island covers around 275 square miles and has plenty of historic sites from prehistoric tombs to medieval castles, natural beauty, stunning beaches and quaint villages. As Anglesey is connected by a bridge to the mainland, you can drive directly there in about an hour and a quarter from Chester. Beaumaris is an attractive historic town located on the eastern coast of Anglesey. The town was founded in the year 1295 by Edward I of England during his conquest of Wales. It was built as a planned settlement around Beaumaris Castle. Over the centuries, Beaumaris became an important port for trade, particularly during the Tudor and Georgian periods. Many fine buildings in the town date from the 18th and 19th centuries, when Beaumaris was a fashionable resort for wealthy visitors from across Britain. The town is also home to the historic courthouse, which dates back to 1614. This is one of the oldest courthouses in Britain that is still open to the public. We stopped for lunch in the Georgian Dragon pub, which had a varied menu, and the garlic mushrooms were the best I've had anywhere in the UK, so I highly recommend it. This is Beaumaris Castle. It was built by Edward I of England in the late 1200s, but it was never finished because Edward was distracted with a war with Scotland. The castle is the main attraction in Beaumaris. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and it's considered one of the most symmetrical and technically perfect castles of the time. The castle was surrounded by a water-filled moat which added another layer of protection. The moat still partially exists today and adds to the dramatic appearance of the castle. The castle has two lines of defensive walls. The outer walls were designed to protect the inner walls, creating an additional layer of defence. Though it was designed mainly for defence purposes, Beaumaris Castle would have also served as a royal residence, military garrison and an administrative centre. The living quarters for the king and the high-ranking officials would have been relatively luxurious for the time, with features such as fireplaces and large halls. Beaumaris Gaol is a former prison built in 1829 and is now a museum offering a glimpse into 19th century prison life. Inside you can explore the prison cells and learn about the punishments and escape attempts. Inmates at Beaumaris Gaol lived a strict and regimented life. They were expected to spend most of their time in their cells working on their allocated tasks. Silence was enforced during work hours and the prisoners' movements were carefully controlled. So that was the toilet and the sink. Only 2 prisoners were executed here, with the second execution taking place in 1862. This was the hanging of Richard Rowlands, who was convicted of the murder of his father-in-law, although many people believed he was wrongly accused. Some people believe his ghost now haunts the prison. A water supply system was installed in 1867 and this was powered by a human tread wheel. Once the prison closed in 1878, the building was used for various purposes such as a courthouse and a police station. We stopped at this local farm close to Beaumaris to wander around the sunflower trail and go fruit picking. Sunflowers tend to bloom here in late summer. They also have a farm shop nearby where you can buy local products.
This morning I'm at Anglesey Riding Centre. I've booked a horse riding trek out with a group. I'm going to be riding Danny today. And this one is Jimmy. Oh.
This castle is a Motte and Bailey style castle built in the late 11th century by Hugh d'Avranches, otherwise known as Hugh the Fat, who was the first Earl of Chester. The castle was initially built with wood and later reinforced with stone. Today the most prominent feature is the stone curtain wall that surrounds the motte. The castle was abandoned for a long time after the Norman period in Anglesey. Then in the 17th century it was used again as a fort during the Second English Civil War, and the stone towers were added in this period. The castle is free to visit and is a bit more off the beaten path in terms of Anglesey's attractions. We parked at the castle's car park and then walked 1 kilometre through the woods to reach the castle, and we had the place to ourselves. We stopped in Aberffraw Village for lunch and had a walk on the beach before going to the tea rooms.
So we've just found this beach and we've got the place all to ourselves, and it's a nice warm day. If you walk over the sand dunes just in front of me here, it'll take you to the main big beach on the coast. It's about a 5 kilometre walk there and back and quite flat. The beach behind me is next to a river, but it is really nice sandy beach. If you're able to, it is worthwhile coming in the beginning of September because you've still got nice weather, but at the same time all the schools are back in, so you can find quiet beaches to yourself like this. Anglesey can get very busy during school holidays. This is Beaumaris. It's a typical Welsh cake. It's made from bread dough and tea and some pieces of fruit, and it translates as speckled bread into English, and it tastes really good when you have butter.
The origins of bara brie date back centuries. It's thought to have been created as a way to use up leftover dough with the dried fruit and spices added for extra flavour.
So this is what we're on our way to now. It's called Aberlleiniog Castle. I hope I pronounced that right. It's a prehistoric tomb situated on the coast.
The burial chamber is located on a cliff overlooking the sea along a scenic stretch of the Anglesey coastal path. It's about a 5-minute walk from the Porth Trecastell beach car park. The mound on top of the burial chamber was constructed in the 1950s after excavations in order to protect the site. The chamber dates back to around the year 2500 BC, and inside you can see some prehistoric art on the stones, including shapes like spirals, zigzags and circles. We arrived at Beaumaris car park to start a hike over to Llanddwyn, which means Llanddwyn Island, and it's about 2.5 kilometres away.
We've just finished our hike through the forest and we've arrived at this little island. You can't reach here unless it's low tide, so you would need to check the tide times before you come out. It's not recommended you walk here if it's within 2 hours of high tide time. On the island there's a little old church and a lighthouse to see.
The island's name Llanddwyn means the Church of Dwynwen in Welsh, referring to the 5th century saint. Saint Dwynwen is often compared to Saint Valentine. Once on the island, you'll see the ruins of Saint Dwynwen's church, which was founded in the early medieval period. The church was built to honour Dwynwen and became a site of pilgrimage. The Tor Mawr lighthouse, which means Big Tower in English, was built in 1845 and stands on the western tip of the island and resembles an old-fashioned windmill. Though no longer in operation, the whitewashed structure remains a prominent part of the island's landscape and provides stunning views of the surrounding coastline. A smaller beacon known as Tor Bach, or Little Tower in English, stands nearby. It was originally built before Tor Mawr and was used as a navigation marker for ships passing through the area. You'll also notice that there are several stone crosses that mark the religious importance of the site. These crosses were erected as markers for pilgrims visiting the Church of St Dwynwen. There is a group of semi-wild ponies on the island. These ponies are cared for and monitored by the local authorities, ensuring their welfare while allowing them to live naturally in the wild. The ponies play an essential role in the conservation of the island's unique ecosystem. By grazing on the sand dunes and vegetation, they help manage the growth of certain plant species, which in turn supports the overall health of the dunes. After our hike, we stopped at the Red Squirrel Cafe for a delicious Spanish tapas dinner. That's all from me on Anglesey. Join me again for part 2 in the future, where I will visit the western part of the island. If you have any recommendations for my next visit, please leave them in the comments, and thank you for watching.